The galaxy was quiet, but not for long. Deep in the void of space, a massive alien fleet gathered, ready to strike. This fleet was unlike anything the humans had ever seen. Hundreds of enormous dreadnoughts floated silently, their dark hulls gleaming under distant stars. They were powerful warships designed for destruction. The alien empire had set its sights on Earth, and the people of the planet were completely unaware of the danger approaching. On Earth, the atmosphere was tense. Captain Sarah Hale stood on the bridge of her ship, the SS Valor. She was a strong leader, respected by her crew. They had seen many battles together, but this was different. This time, the odds were not in their favor. The Valor was a lone human vessel, and it was small compared to the vast alien armada. Sarah felt a weight on her shoulders as she looked out at the starry sky, knowing that millions of lives depended on her decisions. "Captain, we've detected the enemy fleet," said Lieutenant Mark, her right-hand man. His voice trembled slightly, betraying his nerves. "They're on a direct course for our colonies." "Prepare for battle stations," Sarah ordered, her voice steady. She had faced danger before, but this felt like a nightmare. "We need to gather more information. How many ships are we dealing with?" Mark glanced at the screens. "There are at least 500,000 dreadnoughts. We're outnumbered." The crew gasped. Fear spread through the room like wildfire. Sarah understood their concerns, but knew they could not show weakness. She looked around at her crew, their faces pale and filled with doubt. "Listen up, everyone! We've been trained for this. We will not back down. We have the power of the human spirit on our side." As she spoke, Sarah felt the energy in the room shift. The crew nodded, finding strength in her words. They began to prepare for what was to come. Weapons were checked, systems were activated, and the crew members took their positions. "We need a plan," Sarah said, pacing back and forth. "Our best chance is to use our new energy cannon. It's still experimental, but it has the power to take down dreadnoughts in one shot. If we can hit them first, we might stand a chance." The crew exchanged glances, unsure if they believed her. The energy cannon had never been tested in battle. It was a gamble, but they had no other options. If they did nothing, the aliens would surely destroy everything. "Captain, what if the cannon fails?" asked Ensign Lucy, her voice shaking. "We can't afford to lose our only chance." Sarah paused. She knew Lucy was right. If the cannon didn't work, they would be defenseless against the dreadnoughts. But she also knew they had to try. "We'll work together," she replied. "If the cannon fails, we'll fight with everything we have. We are humans, and we do not surrender." With determination in their hearts, the crew focused on their tasks. They loaded the energy cannon, double-checking every detail. Sarah felt a surge of pride as she watched her team work. They were scared, but they were also brave. They understood what was at stake. As the dreadnoughts drew closer, the tension in the air grew thick. Sarah glanced at the viewfinder, seeing the dark shapes of the alien ships against the stars. Each dreadnought was a fortress, and they were all headed for Earth. Time was running out. "Prepare to engage," Sarah commanded, her heart racing. "We need to take the first shot." The crew held their breath, ready for the moment that would change everything. They had trained for this, but the reality was far more intense. Sarah took a deep breath, her mind racing with thoughts of her home and the people she loved. They were counting on her to protect them. As the alien dreadnoughts approached, the SS Valor stood as a lone beacon of hope against an overwhelming force. The fate of humanity rested on this one ship, and Sarah was determined to fight back with everything she had. In the depths of space, a battle was about to begin, and it would test the limits of human courage and strength. The threat was real, and it was time to face it head-on. The SS Valor trembled as the engines roared to life, propelling the ship into the dark expanse of space. Captain Sarah Hale stood at the helm, her heart racing. In front of her, the massive alien dreadnoughts loomed closer, their ominous shapes blocking out the stars. The moment had arrived. "Prepare for battle!" Sarah shouted, her voice echoing through the command deck. "All hands, take your positions!" The crew moved quickly, adrenaline pumping through their veins. Sarah glanced at her tactical display where hundreds of enemy ships appeared as red dots against the black background. They were outnumbered, but she had faith in her crew and their new weapon, the energy cannon. It was their only hope against the overwhelming alien fleet. "Captain, the enemy is closing in fast," Lieutenant Mark reported, his fingers flying over the controls. "We need to make our move now. Ready the energy cannon," Sarah commanded, feeling the weight of her decision. "Aim for the lead dreadnought." The crew worked together, loading the cannon and calculating the perfect trajectory. Sarah could feel the tension in the air, thick and heavy. Every second felt like an eternity. She looked at her crew, seeing fear in their eyes, but also determination. They were ready to fight for their home. Firing in 3, 2, 1, fire! Sarah shouted. The energy cannon unleashed a blinding beam of light that cut through space. For a moment, time stood still. The crew watched as the beam struck the lead dreadnought. The ship erupted in a brilliant explosion, fragments flying in all directions. Cheers erupted on the SS Valor as they witnessed their first victory. "Direct hit! One down!" Mark shouted, his eyes wide with excitement. But their victory was short-lived. The remaining dreadnoughts quickly regrouped, returning fire with a barrage of weapons. The SS Valor shook as blasts of energy hit its shields, sending jolts through the ship. "Shields holding at 70%, reported Ensign Lucy, her voice strained as she worked to keep the system stable. "Redirect power to the shields. We need to hold," Sarah ordered, gripping the control panel tightly. Her heart raced as the dreadnoughts advanced, their cannons lighting up like deadly fireworks. "Captain, they're flanking us," Mark warned. "We need to move or we'll be trapped. Engage evasive maneuvers. Keep our shields facing the enemy," Sarah shouted. The Valor twisted and turned, dodging blasts of energy as it fought to stay alive. The crew worked tirelessly, responding to Sarah's commands. They fired the energy cannon again, taking out another dreadnought. But the alien fleet was relentless. The SS Valor danced through the chaos, narrowly avoiding hits as the crew fought bravely. "Captain, we've taken damage to the aft section," Lucy yelled, her voice filled with urgency. "We can't take many more hits. Patch up the breaches and stabilize the ship," Sarah barked. She refused to let her crew see her fear. They had come too far to back down now. As the battle raged on, Sarah's mind raced. They were outnumbered, but they had something the aliens didn't, the human spirit. She had to rally her crew, remind them of their strength. "Listen up, everyone," Sarah called out, her voice cutting through the noise. "We are not alone in this fight. We fight for Earth, for our families, and for each other. We are going to win!" The crew nodded, their resolve strengthened. They fought harder, taking down dreadnought after dreadnought. The SS Valor moved like a predator, striking with precision and grace. But then, a massive dreadnought emerged from the shadows, larger and more powerful than the others. Its guns glowed ominously as it locked onto the Valor. "Captain, it's targeting us!" Mark shouted, panic creeping into his voice. "Brace for impact!" Sarah yelled, knowing the ship might not survive this next hit. The dreadnought fired and a brilliant beam of energy shot toward them. Time slowed as Sarah's heart raced. She could see the destruction coming. But then in that moment, she remembered her crew and their fierce determination. "Evasive maneuvers, now," Sarah commanded. The SS Valor swerved just in time. The energy beam missed, hitting another dreadnought instead. The explosion lit up the dark space, a small victory amidst the chaos. "Keep fighting! We can win this!" Sarah urged her crew, pushing forward with renewed strength. They were a team, and together they would face whatever came next. As the battle continued, Sarah felt a spark of hope. They were fighting back against impossible odds, proving that one human vessel could stand up against a fearsome alien armada. The fight was far from over, but they were ready for whatever challenges lay ahead. The SS Valor drifted through the stars, its hull battered and scarred from the fierce battle. Captain Sarah Hale stood on the bridge, her heart still racing from the fight. They had faced impossible odds, taking down dozens of alien dreadnoughts. But the enemy fleet was still vast, and their numbers seemed endless. "Status report!" Sarah ordered, her voice firm despite her exhaustion. "Shields are down to 30% and we've lost a lot of systems," Ensign Lucy replied, her fingers moving quickly over the control panel. "We need to find a safe place to regroup and make repairs." Sarah nodded, knowing that their survival depended on it. "Plot a course for the nearest space station. We need to refuel and fix the ship." As Lucy entered the coordinates, Mark stepped forward. "Captain, do you think we can contact any other human ships? We could use some backup." Sarah sighed, her mind racing. "The nearest fleet is hundreds of light years away. We might not have time to wait for them, but we can try to send a distress signal. Maybe there are other ships nearby that can help." "Sending the signal now," Lucy said. "I hope someone hears us." As they waited, Sarah felt a mix of hope and anxiety. The dreadnoughts were regrouping, and it wouldn't be long before they came back for another fight. Just then, a transmission crackled through the ship's communication system. "This is Captain Talia of the Horizon. We've received your distress signal and are en route to your location." The voice was strong and confident. "Hold tight. We'll be there soon." "Thank goodness," Mark exclaimed, relief washing over him. "Keep monitoring for their position," Sarah replied. "We need to be ready for anything." Moments turned into hours as they waited, the tension palpable on the bridge. The crew worked tirelessly to make repairs and conserve energy. The dim lights of the ship flickered, a reminder of their vulnerability. Just when Sarah began to worry they might not make it, a familiar shape appeared in the distance. "There they are!" Lucy shouted, pointing to the view screen. The Horizon was a sleek, agile ship, and it glided through space like a silver dart. Sarah felt a wave of relief wash over her as it approached. She was glad to see another human vessel, knowing they would not have to face the Dreadnoughts alone. "Welcome aboard, Captain Talia." Sarah greeted her over the comms. "We need your help. The enemy fleet is still out there, and they are angry." "Understood," Captain Talia replied. "We've been monitoring the situation. We're ready to fight alongside you." As the Horizon docked with the Valor, Sarah and her crew prepared to welcome their new allies. The air on the bridge shifted, filled with hope and camaraderie. Talia's crew was strong, and Sarah felt renewed energy as they exchanged quick introductions. "Let's get to work," Talia said, her eyes fierce. "We need a plan to take down the rest of those Dreadnoughts. Together we can make a real impact." Sarah nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders again. "Our energy cannon is still operational. If we can coordinate our attacks, we might take out their command ship." As the two captains discussed their strategy, the crew of both ships worked in unison, repairing the Valor and preparing for battle. They shared resources, skills, and knowledge, each person knowing they were part of something greater. It was a united front against a common enemy. "Captain, we've detected multiple enemy ships approaching," Lucy warned, her voice tense. "Time to put our plan into action," Sarah said, adrenaline surging through her veins. "All crew battle stations!" The crew moved swiftly, excitement mixed with fear. Together, they would face the Dreadnoughts again. Sarah felt the bond between her crew and Talia's grow stronger as they prepared to fight side by side. "On my mark," Talia said, her voice steady. 3, 2, 1. Now! The two ships launched forward, their cannons firing in unison. Bright beams of energy shot through the darkness, striking the enemy ships with precision. Sarah could feel the thrill of battle again, and she knew they were ready. "Captain, they're fighting back," Mark shouted as enemy fire erupted around them. "Stay focused! Keep firing!" Sarah yelled, her heart pounding. "We will not back down!" The Valor and the Horizon danced through the chaos, working together seamlessly. The crew communicated through signals, dodging blasts and striking back with precision. With each alien ship they took down, their confidence grew. As the battle raged on, Sarah felt the power of unity. They were no longer a lone ship. They were part of a team fighting for their survival. The tide of battle was turning, and they were determined to win. Together, they would show the galaxy that humans would not be easily defeated. The battle raged around the SS Valor and the Horizon. Energy blasts filled the void of space, lighting up the dark canvas like deadly fireworks. Captain Sarah Hale watched the chaos unfold on the bridge, her heart pounding. They were holding their own against the alien Dreadnoughts, but they needed a plan to end the fight decisively. "Captain Talia," Sarah called out, turning to her ally. "We can't just keep firing at them. We need to outsmart them if we want to win this battle." Talia nodded, her face serious. "Agreed. We need to find their command ship. If we can take it out, the rest of the fleet will fall apart." Lucy, the ensign, chimed in. "I've been scanning the enemy ships. There's a larger Dreadnought at the back of their formation. It has to be their command ship." "Then that's our target," Sarah said, determination in her voice. "But we can't just charge in. We need a clever plan to distract the other ships while we go after it." Talia raised an eyebrow. "What do you have in mind?" Sarah thought for a moment, then an idea sparked. "What if we create a diversion? We can use the Horizon to draw their fire, making them focus on you while the Valor sneaks in to take out the command ship." "Sounds risky," Talia said, "but it might just work. We'll need to time it perfectly." "Agreed," Sarah replied. "We can use our energy cannon to hit their flanks and create confusion. They won't know what hit them." The two captains quickly went over the details of the plan, making sure every crew member knew their role. The atmosphere on the bridge buzzed with excitement. The crew felt a renewed sense of purpose, knowing they were about to take action. "Time to put this plan into motion," Sarah said, her voice steady. "Let's show them what we're made of!" The two ships moved into position, preparing for the crucial moment. The horizon would take the lead, drawing the attention of the enemy. Sarah could feel the tension in the air, but she was confident. This was their chance. "On my mark," Sarah said, watching the tactical display closely. 3, 2, 1, go! The horizon surged forward, firing its weapons at the nearest dreadnoughts. Bright beams of energy sliced through the darkness, striking the enemy ships. The aliens turned their focus to Talia's ship, taking the bait as Sarah had hoped. "Now, Valor! Move in!" Sarah shouted, gripping the controls tightly. The SS Valor accelerated, darting toward the command ship hidden at the back of the formation. "Captain, we're taking fire," Mark yelled as blasts of energy whizzed past them. "Divert power to the shields." "Hold steady," Sarah ordered, determination fueling her. They couldn't turn back now. The Valor weaved through the enemy fire, moving closer to the command ship. Sarah felt a mix of fear and excitement. This was their moment to strike. "Enemy command ship in sight," Lucy called out, her voice filled with urgency. "We're almost there!" "Lock onto the target and prepare the energy cannon," Sarah commanded. She could see the Dreadnought's massive silhouette growing larger on the view screen. "Ready to fire!" Lucy shouted, her fingers poised over the controls. "On my command." "Fire!" Sarah yelled. The energy cannon fired, a brilliant beam of light shooting straight toward the command ship. The blast struck true, and the Dreadnought erupted in an explosion that lit up the dark void. For a moment, Sarah felt a surge of triumph. But the victory was short-lived. The remaining alien ships began to regroup, focusing their fire on the Valor. "Shields down to 20%, Mark warned, panic creeping into his voice. "We can't take many more hits. Evasive maneuvers. Keep moving," Sarah ordered, her mind racing. They had to keep the pressure on the enemy. As the Valor dodged enemy fire, Sarah felt a sense of urgency. They had taken out the command ship, but the battle was far from over. The alien fleet was furious, and they needed to finish what they started. "Captain Talia, are you ready to finish this?" Sarah called over the comms. "Always," Talia replied, determination clear in her voice. "Let's end this fight together." With renewed strength, the two ships regrouped, ready for one final push. Sarah knew that they had come too far to give up now. Together, they would show the alien fleet the true power of human resolve. The final battle was just beginning, and they were determined to win. The stars shimmered coldly in the void of space as the two human ships, the SS Valor and the Horizon, prepared for their final assault. After taking down the command ship, the remaining alien dreadnoughts were in chaos. However, they were regrouping, angry and more dangerous than ever. "Captain Sarah," Talia said, her voice steady over the comms. "We've taken out their command ship, but they're still strong. We need to hit them hard and fast before they can reorganize." "I agree," Sarah replied, glancing at the tactical display. It showed a mass of enemy ships closing in, their weapons charging. "Let's strike while we have the advantage. We have to show them we are not to be messed with." "Ready our energy cannons and prepare for a coordinated attack," Talia instructed her crew, and Sarah echoed the order on the Valor. As they aligned their ships, Sarah felt a rush of adrenaline. This was it, the moment they had fought so hard for. The tension on the bridge was palpable. Every crew member was focused, knowing they were about to engage in the most critical battle of their lives. "On my mark, we'll fire together," Sarah said, looking at Talia's ship on the view screen. 3, 2, 1, fire! The energy cannons of both ships lit up the darkness, sending brilliant beams of light racing toward the enemy dreadnoughts. The blasts hit true, causing several alien ships to explode in bursts of color and fire. "Nice shot!" Mark shouted, his eyes wide with excitement. "Keep firing! Don't let up!" Sarah commanded, her heart racing. They were making progress, but the remaining dreadnoughts were not backing down. Suddenly, the remaining enemy ships retaliated, unleashing a barrage of energy blasts aimed at the Valor and the Horizon. Sarah's heart sank as she watched the display. "Shields holding at 15%, Lucy shouted. "We can't take many more hits. Evasive maneuvers," Sarah yelled, gripping the controls tightly. The Valor swerved to the left, dodging a beam of energy that narrowly missed them. "Captain, we're surrounded," Mark warned, his voice tense. The alien ships were closing in from all sides, trying to trap them. "Stick to the plan! We need to break their formation." Talia's voice came through, calm yet urgent. "Focus on one ship at a time." "Understood," Sarah replied, a fire igniting in her chest. "Let's split up and take them on." The two ships separated, each targeting a different enemy dreadnought. Sarah's heart raced as she locked onto a massive ship, its weapons glowing ominously. "Locking on, now!" Lucy called out. "Ready to fire!" "Do it!" Sarah commanded. The Valor fired its energy cannon again, and the blast struck the alien ship with powerful force. It exploded in a blinding flash, sending debris flying in all directions. "Good job," Mark cheered, his excitement contagious. But the battle was far from over. More enemy ships surged toward them, firing relentlessly. "Shields down to 10%, Lucy shouted, her fingers flying over the controls as she worked to reroute power. "We need to regroup. Fall back to the horizon. Talia, can you cover us?" Sarah called, her voice steady despite the chaos. "Absolutely." "Keep moving," Talia replied, her ship firing at the nearest dreadnought to provide cover. As the Valor turned to retreat, Sarah felt a mix of fear and hope. They had to make it back to the horizon for a better defensive position. "On my mark, now!" Talia shouted, firing her cannons again. Bright beams struck several enemy ships, causing confusion and disruption. With their cover fire, the Valor reached the horizon safely. The two ships quickly rejoined forces, regrouping for another coordinated attack. "Let's finish this," Sarah said, determination filling her voice. "We have them on the run." "Ready on my signal," Talia replied, her face fierce. "We'll take them down together." As the alien ships swarmed closer, Sarah felt her resolve strengthen. This time, they wouldn't just defend, they would attack with everything they had. "Now!" Sarah shouted. The two ships launched forward, cannons firing in unison. The energy beams lit up the dark expanse as they struck the remaining dreadnoughts, one by one. The alien fleet faltered under the combined assault, and Sarah could see the tide turning in their favor. With each explosion, their hope grew stronger. "We're doing it!" Mark exclaimed, eyes wide with excitement. With one final surge, the Valor and the Horizon pressed forward, their energy cannons blazing. They could feel victory close at hand. "Let's show them what humanity is made of!" Sarah roared, her heart soaring. Together, they were unstoppable. The battle was theirs, and they would not be forgotten.